Chris Hall, you're a Development Director from Carillion. Thanks for joining us here at Base London.
That's okay.
We've been hearing a lot today about the scale of growth that was predicted in London, but also in cities across the UK. How do you think we're going to cope with that kind of scale of growth?
I think it's a huge challenge for us. I think if you look at some of the items that have been spoken about today, so growth around housing, the demand on housing, which then generates the demand on energy. Some of those are really tough challenges for us to meet. I think those challenges are also faced in some of the core cities across the UK as well.
Okay.
Birmingham, Manchester, Liverpool, they all experience the same challenges. So for me, I think we need to have a look at how we address those challenges. Local government, central government, and industry itself.
Okay. Do you think there's an argument to say that we should be trying to limit the growth in certain areas, or should we just allow regions to grow at their own pace?
I think decentralisation, is probably absolutely key to this, because if you look at decentralising some of those policies, then effectively the local authorities and the LEPs, they know what's happening in their current area. So therefore, if you take some of that ownership back into the local areas, then there's going to be a much better chance of controlling it.
Yeah. We heard, of course, last week George Osborne was really championing the need to create regional powerhouses, the reintroduction, if possible, of city mayors. Is that a solution for you?
I think it's one of the solutions. If we look at passing some of that power back to local authorities and city mayors, as you say, again, it passes the control and knowing what developments are going to push better and succeed within those areas well.
But of course, the other thing which is happening next month is the divvying up of £2 billion of local growth funds, as Lord Heseltine has been driving forward that process of driving that money, decentralising and getting it out into the local enterprise partnerships. One of the key issues around, one of the key issues that's been raised is, do we have the skills, do we have the leadership in the local areas, the local regions to actually spend that kind of money?
Carillion have been working with a number of the LEPs and submitting their bids. I think there is a huge skills shortage in a number of sectors, and it's that engagement with local employers, local industry from those enterprise partnerships that will then be able to bring those projects to the table, ensure that money is spent wisely, effectively, whilst creating jobs and employment.
Because there is a vast amount of money which is going to go into the local economies. So for you, actually making sure we have the skills available, is that a limit? Is that a limiting factor on the various regions and their abilities to grow?
I think that's a limiting factor, not just on various regions. I think that's the UK. That's a UK problem for us. London's going to experience it with the growth that they have. Birmingham, Manchester, Liverpool, as I've said, will experience exactly the same challenges. Okay. I think that there has to be investment and focus on growing our skill base.
So from where you sit, looking at the need to cope with growth, the need to also to decarbonise the economy, decarbonise the developments that we're putting in place, do you feel positive about the future?
I think the future is positive. I think there's a sense of caution, though, that also needs to be taken. And if we take those small steps and we meet those big challenges step by step, then I think we'll overcome some of those. So the future is good.
Okay. Chris Hall, thank you very much for joining us.
That's great. Thanks.
Thanks.